Some insane evos. Before we go on to this, I want to say that it's 20% off right now for 24 hours only. We rarely do any discounts on the Patreon, but since it's coming to my big 3-0 and also 5 years anniversary of Nil, guys, we've got 20% off my FC School series. I'm giving away 20% discount for my FC School course. We only give discounts out maybe once or twice a year, so you only have 24 hours from the time this video comes out to do it. Go on patreon.com/Nil, guys, click on any of my tiers and type in the code April. That is April for a discount. Remember, you only have 24 hours, so you got to do it by today. If you want to get that 20% off for your first month of my Patreon, don't forget that gives you access to the full Patreon, the full course, the FC School series, and of course, the most requested Division 10 to Elite Division series. Link is down below in the description. Remember, 24 hours. Don't forget the code April. There you go. So I'll leave the code down below, but now let's get on to the evolution. Some absolutely insane evolutions that have come out. Now, remember the Immortals evolution. We're looking at so many different kinds. I wanted to focus on the main ones. We have Become Immortal, and of course, we do have one insane one called the President. Now, this is what's interesting, is you could basically take a player and bring them up. Now, the cam position, that's a bit of a sticky one, but what you could do is by doing this, not only are you upgrading a player, ignore the cam position, you actually base upgrading a card that you have already. So you can see there's many options. You can see the first step is you get Anticipate, Incisive Pass, and you get the cam, and you get the shooting. And then you get the agility and balance, which is very, very important for defending, tiki-taka playstyle. And then you get the passing, the dribbling, the pace a little bit, incisive and aerial. Then you get the shooting even more, a pinged pass, and then a playmaker plus, and then a shadow striker, and then anticipate. So this is where I think this would be one of those ones where cards like Indica that are already cracked, already have some insane stats, you're making them even more insane. So if you're looking for that player that can play that cam role and that can play that center back role very well, there's actually many players. There's actually, technically, if you're smart about this, you can get one of those players that has a bit of everything. In theory, you know, you can't make a card a center mid, but look, the pace boost alone can really make a god tier player. I think we saw some leaked players of Virgil van Dijk as well. And then we have Become Immortal. Start your journey to immortality. Submit a qualifying center mid to begin their rise to icon status with universal boost, making them a top flight caliber and ready for the next challenge. So you can see here, this is where it's interesting. Plus 50 pace, plus 50 shooting, plus 60. That is insane stats upgrade, basically. And then you get the 2-star weak foot and then the skill moves. And what's insane, it's easy to do any center mid. Now, you could practically turn anyone, like Tonali's been one of my favorite players. We can't actually do it because we've done him already. But players like Stanway, look at that. You could basically, and I'm presuming this could stack. So I wouldn't rush to do this yet because there could be cards that stack together when you're doing, let's even like a DePaul, for example. Look at that. So I think this could stack. I'm not 100% sure, but there could be ability that these can stack together. But let's just go over some of the meta cards right now. So we're going to come to Become Immortal second. I think let's first go to the President. Now, what's interesting here is you can make a center back, a center mid, okay? I'm sorry, I can. Now, what's interesting, I would say, is it's making a player like Virgil van Dijk. We saw that. Look at that. So Virgil van Dijk, we always knew acceleration was bad. So let's see, is this card basically going to be extinct? Probably. So be quick because this Virgil van Dijk could probably be extinct. But now what's insane is you're taking Virgil van Dijk, we're evolving him to 98 sprint speed. I've gone through the centre back tier list the other day. That's absolutely insane. Look at those stats. But the fact he can play that cam role as well, it's insane. So I think, look at that passing. 99's all for the short passing. He's basically a dream player. There's going to be so many cards here. We can see Saliba. We talked about him being a very good card when he came out. A bit overpriced now. But look at this. Now you can bring him to 90 sprint speed. 90. Just pushing that pace up just a little bit higher. Just a little bit. But you're really making this card viable. Can he even shoot with the ball? So that's something we're going to look at as well. You can see Blanc. Okay. The real Blanc inspired card you can see here. So realistically speaking, someone like Blanc that can play center back, center mid. Well, this is a new card, Blanc, actually. Just came out. Didn't even realize. But there is actually so many cards here. Puyol actually becomes usable. And we can see, look, someone like Pau Karabsi, I think that's how you say his name. Kubasi, sure, Karabsi. What was I thinking? But look, another card that can work very well. So I think the way we split this up is we look at defenders first. So, oh my God, Kunde, wow. From an attacking standpoint, okay, so let's say we're going to bring this out. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the sprint speed, I think at this stage here, you ideally want 90, okay? Then I say defensive awareness. Let's go defensive awareness. We're going to put that at 90. Let's say who we can really get. Interceptions, we're going to put that at 88. And then let's say, for example, we went with stand tackling is not that important. It really isn't. You see, people always get this confused. Stand tackling is not the most important. It's defensive awareness and interceptions. So let's just do that again. So we're going to go over here. We're going to go with, so we're going to sprint speed. We're going to go 90 because at this stage, for them to last until team of the season, you ideally want that high stats, that high caliber. That's ideally what you want at this stage. And with interceptions, we're going to go with 88. We're just going to see who we got the top of the top right now, so we can see over here. So very interesting. So we got Konsa. You can link him together. Very, very good card. Quick step for centre back. Now, let me tell you, you can also play it as a right back. Remember that. Tiki-taka, ping, pass, intercept, has everything you'd pretty much want with the bomb forward. Very, very interesting. You want to get better at FC25 now. Before you skip ahead, what if I told you if you don't get better after 1 month, I'll refund your money? That's a nil guys guarantee. We got in-depth tutorials that are not even on the YouTube channel. We show you the theory of something and we show you gameplay examples in a structured format. We also go over real-life football examples that apply to the game and exclusive pro gameplay analysis, full gameplay analysis to elevate your game. We teach you everything from the basics to the meta. Come join at patreon.com/NeilGuys. Links down below in the description. If you don't get better after 1 month, we'll refund your money. That's the Neil Guys guarantee. Links down below in the description. Christensen is also another very good card. Again, his acceleration does let him down. What we're going to do is, I know Virgil van Dijk will probably get omitted from this because the acceleration really... But that sprint speed is insane. Incisive pass. Can you imagine him playing him in cam? For any of you people that score headers, you could definitely abuse that. Bremer, a very, very good card of mine. Again, very, very good. Don't forget he's 5-star, 5-star. So, you know, some of these players that have that 5-star, 5-star ability, that's something that you got to look at because then they can then play that cam role and then can go forward and then can shoot. So we're going to change some of these in a second. We've got some pretty Mappy Leon as well. Decent card. A lot of these cards, so, you know, can anyone really play, let's just see, can anyone really play centre mid here? So we have another card, Kaito, that's if we link it. Let's get rid of the, hang on, let's just get rid of the filters. Can anyone really play centre mid here? Let's have a quick look. Anyone really play centre mid here? Okay, they can. There's some trending players we may have missed. We'll come back to that. So some of these cards, and let's say now we put the sprint speed at 90. And let's say now we put the defensive awareness at 90. So you can see there's quite a lot of cards here. I mean, maybe we can lean towards the major leagues, which is kind of, because let's be realistic, people are probably going, I know technically people have got players, but from the major leagues, Lerma. Wow. So what's interesting with this Lerma card, 91 sprint speed. He can play centre back, CDM, and centre mid and a cam. See, that is really making those cards god tier. You see, stats like this is what's very, very interesting. The finishing doesn't go up naturally, but if you're looking for a good box-to-box, that could be, with Guardians of the Pitch, that could be a good combination. We can see Keitel as well, another very good card. Now, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to do, get rid of this for a second. Let's have a quick look. So we've got some other players in. We've got Anton as well. Quite a lot of cards. Gabriel, I talked about him being a terrible card. Well, not terrible, but really lacks the pace. But you can see slight upgrade with the sprint speed. Although it is not better other cards available. Van Dijk we were looked at. King. So this is the other King, 92 sprint speed. No jockey playstyle on that one, something just to bear in mind. Bremer is another very good card. Let's now go. So now let's just go over this. We're going to put now. This is going to be a sticky one. Let's say we put minimum 4-star weak foot, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the finishing. It's going to be tight. We're going to put the finishing at 80. Okay, so some interesting cards that could play there. Todibo could also play that role as well. Interesting. So let's say we went with a long shot. So we're just going to put the long shots. We're going to put that at, let's say, we'd want them at least 90, okay? Let's say shot power. We put that at 90. Then what we're going to do is long passing, which I think is going to be important. We're going to put at 85, a bit on the conservative side. And the short pass we'll put 85. And then we'll put composure 85 as well. So now we're looking at cams that could actually play that cam role. So let's have a quick look. Let's get rid of the major leagues here for a second. Maybe that's just pushing it a bit too much. Is there anyone that really appears? Not really. Let's get rid of the 4-star weak foot. So these would be cards that could play. So look, the Chalobah, look, he can play right back and he can play cam. You can see maybe it's the finishing that's really. Let's get rid of that. So however, 4 pages here. So we got much. So you know what? Some of these cards can play. Like, imagine Yap, Stam, and Cam. So you know what? If you're looking for that player that can play that cam role, maybe just much more of a passer. Is anyone that's 5-star here? There's quite a few, like Kalulu. So imagine here, look at this Kalulu card. He can play as a cam with incisive and with quick step. So can you imagine that together? That is actually an insane card. Because you know, if you're losing a game, you can bring him on from a pressing perspective in that cam position, can pass the ball, can shoot. Yes, his finishing is not going to be good, but outside the box as a distributor, he could be a very, very good card. Look at his Danilo card, another one where you put him with bomb forward. So you see, these are the secret cards that no one's going to be thinking about just yet, but these are definitely some real good godsends, to be honest. You got Godfrey as well, another good card, 97 sprint speed. So with the incisive that you're getting, and then you combine it with the quick step of, so you know, some of these cards here, don't write them off. Don't write. Without the 5-star, is there really anyone else? There is quite a few, to be honest. I think with the quick step and incisive for a cam, that is so important. Hear me out on that one. Let's have a look at the trending players. Anyone that we really missed? Mateus can do this as well. Not that much of a stat really upgrade. Yeah, he could probably get the cam roll, but I think his sprint speed's probably a bit too slow there. Looked at Hierro, another decent card. Now, as I said, Hiero's a bit of a fraud before, now he's usable. Chouameni, very interesting. Good shooting as well, but now can defend and can play centre back and can play CDM. So there's universal cards. We've got Rio Ferdinand. Gets the better sprint speed. So you can see from a defensive standpoint, some of these cards like Yunus Nesta becoming even better. You got to be careful about the acceleration. Is the only thing I would say with this card. Kunde, one of my favorites, we talked about him already. But there's so many actually pretty good cards. Look at Tapsoba if he done that SBC, I believe. 89 sprint speed, just push it just a bit higher. Lucio, another good card as well. So this card is really allowing. There's so many good cards. Look, we'll come back to this towards the end. Let's go to become immortal. We're going to look at some of these evolved players. As you can see over here, you are getting the 45 dribbling, 50 pace, capped at 85, the defending. And unfortunately, it's centre mids only. But, you know, there is some really interesting players that could be had at Ndombele. And there could be a chance this this evolution does stack. So I'm going to be honest, as I always say to you, don't be hasty in your decisions. Wait a little bit before you make your mind up. I think this is very early doors, early days. And you can see, for example, here, if we go back to Become Immortal, this is Become Immortal 1. So this is start your journey. So we need to wait at least for the second and the third one to come out before we make it. But you can see, look here, you can actually upgrade some of these players. But I think it's really, like, maybe combining a bronze player or some of those players all together would be really interesting. I've already got Havertz, so I can't do him. That's one thing. I wish you could at least spectate the player as well so you can see it, but we can't here. We've got Fernandez as well. So this is, I think this is the entry level one. I think, you know, with this one, I'm going to be honest, there's nothing really that much available right now. Whatever I would do is when the time does come, I would filter it by at least 88 sprint speed is kind of what you want to be looking for now. And it drops it to only a few players, Mateus Nunez, but there is good combinations that could come out. So there is some insane evolutions. The president, I think, is very good. We have a quick look over here on Footbin very quickly before we move forward. We're going to go over here to the evolutions, and then we're going to go to the president. We're going to look at also Become Immortal, but I know Footbin is just a bit behind. So on Popular, we can see Chouameni, Saliba. I think really making some of these cars that never had the pace and give them the sprint speed buff is really what's key. I'm just going to do one more final thing for the president. I'm just going to do sprint speed. We're going to push this to 88. Defensive awareness, we're going to push this to 88. And we're going to put interceptions at 88 as well. And who have we got here? So we've got a few players. See, there's anyone else that I really want to use? Then what we're going to do is, I think we're going to do a bit of a nil, guys, top tip. So there's certain things you also want to add in. So we're going to add in height. I think let's add in some height. So we're going to put, I say 175 and 183 as 6 foot. We'll go 178 now, which should be, for mass is correct, 5'9". So there is still many players that we could use. Look at this Kusanov card when he's upgraded. So you can see really the sprint speed is what you're paying for. And let's say, nah, this is going to be a bit daring and players are going to get kicked out here. Let's say players like the Virgil van Dijk. Let's say put 85. You can see the Virgil van Dijk get kicked out here. Can we maybe push this to at least an acceleration of 88? The reason why is because of the speed boost. So you can see Gvardiol actually gets a decent upgrade, 88. And can play that cam role. And he's got a 5-star weak foot, don't forget. And he's getting incisive and the block. Okay, that's very interesting. Is anyone here with quick step? Not really. So very, very interesting. But there's so many players. Like this again, it's a combination. I think, look, don't worry yet. Wait. Don't be pressing in what you choose. Just wait a little bit. See who you can upgrade and let's combine them together. There could be some really good combination plays coming out. But anyway, guys, don't forget, if you're talking about the FC School Series, don't forget 20% off for 24 hours only from now until tomorrow about 7 p.m. By the time this video goes out, we've got 20% off, 5-year special, 20% off your first month, any tier, even the cheapest tier, the bronze tier, where you can see Division 10 to Elite Division Series. Thanks for watching. Take it easy and I'll catch you next time. Peace.